Hello and welcome to Speaking Frankly. This is a podcast that covers all genres. We'll be talking to people from all walks of life. In each episode, we'll be engaging in captivating topics and explaining them in a straightforward but informative manner. As the title suggests, this will be an honest podcast with guests that shoot from the hip. Along the way, we will take a journey into the human mind by assessing the attitudes and characterizations that led people to their successes or their so-called failures. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to Speaking Frankly. My guest today is Carl Eaton. Carl is the founder and manager of Skelmersdale Men-Aces, which is a football club for adults with disabilities. As you'll discover, Carl is an extraordinary man and in many ways a unique type of person. Welcome to the show, Carl.
Hello, Frank. How are you doing?
Not so bad, mate. Not so bad.
Good man.
I've said to you before we spoke, I had a list of 5 people before I even started this podcast, and you were top of the list of people to speak to.
So am I top of the good-looking stakes, Frank?
Definitely. You qualify because you're bald like me, so that's a perfect start, isn't it? Anyway, listen, tell me where the journey in your life started.
You know, the journey in my life started from when I was born, Frank. 1962, Belle Vale. And I was born October with a condition that was pretty much unknown in them days, with a condition called Spina Bifida, which is a huge defect of the spine. And in them days, when I was born, Mum and Dad got called by the doctors, and they, in a nutshell, they basically said, leave him with us, go home and have yourselves another child. And that's what unbelievable. But Mum and Dad were made of sturdy stuff, you know. They loved each other with a passion. My dad was a proud uni man, been a uni man all his life, big hard, tough man, and he wasn't taking none of that, you know. And he scooped us up, and I remember Mum, Dad worked 7 days a week practically. My mum on buses, winter, snow, ice, with me, back and forth the hospital, operation after operation. And you know what, for the 12 months they got through it, and then 12 months after, my other brother Harry was born, and unknown to them then, but he had a severe learning disability. And obviously Harry progressed at a really slow pace over the next 2 years. And so again, Mum was at the hospital with the battle my mum used to have. She told us horrendous weather, 2 kids, 2 severely disabled kids, you know, back and forth the hospitals. My dad working everything he had to go. And but you know what, they managed. They got by. And do you know what, they did it on their own. You know, apart from the wonderful doctors that looked after me and our age. But my mum and dad, you know, they brought us up well. They brought us up not to tolerate fools. They brought us up to be respectful to people. And I think that's why where I am today, because over them years when I was a young child, I had loads and loads of operations. As a teenager, loads of operations. And my mum and dad were there for us all the time, no matter what problems they had. You know, what severe problems with our Harry as well. But they were always there and always there. And as I got older, I realised that I've got to give back. I need to give all that love back somehow.
Yeah.
You know, 6 years after our Harry was born, Ian, he's a head teacher now in the school in Skem, you know. And life doesn't seem fair sometimes, but I'll tell you what, Frank, all I know is I came from one hell of a loving family. My dad was one of the hardest men I've ever met in my entire life. And if we were little buggers, trust me, we didn't do it again. Yeah. You know, with just the sound of that man's voice. And sometimes I used to think, was he overly strict with us, was he? But you know what, he wasn't. We never brought police to the door, we never brought any problems to the house. And we grew up as a well-respected family, a proud family. And that was through my mum and dad giving us the love and the attention. I don't know how they did it. I really don't know. I don't know how my mum did it. My mum was a little 4 foot nothing.
Yeah.
I used to call her, I used to lean on her, call her Fred. You know what I mean? And she was a tough cook. And my dad was the big fella, you know, the man's man. But my ma was the boss. She was only little, but she could pack a punch, my mother. So yeah.
So they've given you a good start to life, haven't they?
Yeah, they definitely have. I mean, yeah. Even school, my school days, I hated school. I absolutely hated school with a passion, because particularly I went to Bishop Martin first in Skem, and then on to West Bank till 77, and West Bank was awful. You know, I was there as a disabled man. I was walking down 2 calibers on each legs, and I got bullied and bullied and bullied, and to the point it was just, I didn't want to go in. My dad kept going down to school trying to sort it out, and the more he tried to sort it out his way,
the worse
it got.
Yeah.
You know, so I was bullied terrible at school, and that's the biggest thing I hate in my life now is bullies. I hate them with a passion. I really, really do, you know. So yes, the school wasn't great for me.
Yeah, but listen, it gave you even greater respect for people and for life.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, well, like I said, I've grown up and I brought my kids up and everything the same way. Be respectful to people. Listen, Frank, it's easy to be an idiot. The hardest thing in this world is to be nice.
Yeah.
And it is. You know, and just be nice to people. It's not rocket science. I'm no angel. Done a lot of stupid things in my life over the years that I regret. But you know what? I can put a smile on someone's face, and if I can pick them up off the floor like I was picked up off the floor. And
we'll come to that in a bit, because you've done a marvellous range of things for the community of Skelmersdale. Incredible list of things. But just going back to your childhood, what stage did things change? I mean, at what stage did you recognise that you were treated differently to people?
The minute I hit senior school, I realised I was being treated different than anybody else. I really, really did.
Were you protected more at infants and junior school?
Yeah, and I think
so
I think it was through the naivety of kids then as well. You know, they were too young to make a fuss of your disability, but you know, as you got into that senior side of school and they were older, and you're thinking to yourself, I just felt alone. You know, this isn't a sob story, I just felt alone, isolated, like I was the only one with a disability. Yeah. I was hated because of that disability. And that's why now, I hate my disability. People think I get along with my disability. The truth is I hate it. I hate it with a passion like I can't describe.
Yeah.
and excuse me, and I'm not one for feeling sorry for myself. Not at all. But I hate being disabled. I take the hat off to them people that get on with it, and you know.
Yeah.
I'm not that person. I might create that persona, but I'm not that person.
No. So you've gone from junior school into high school, and things have changed. You've suddenly realised people are treating you differently.
Yeah, I've suddenly realised there's a bit more nastiness in this world than at first, than I ever imagined, you know. But I got through it, you know. I did make a lot of school anyway, because again I was in and out of hospitals. I had about 20 operations, and so I got through senior school. I don't know how. I didn't pass any GCSEs. I didn't get any exams, any CSEs. I was never there.
No. Did it get any better at that stage?
No, it didn't. I remember the day I was waving the flags when I left school in 77. I couldn't wait. It was the best thing no more. And then when I left, I thought to myself, I need to give something back. I straight away, as soon as I left school, I got involved in voluntary work straight away.
Yeah. I
remember I started in Beacon View Old People's Home in Old Skem. Remember it like it was yesterday. And I started off there, and that's been my life. My life since I was 17 has been caring for others.
Yeah. Supporting
the underdog, and trying to make them the best person they can possibly be.
Yeah. It's marvellous, the way your life has gone. Do you sometimes feel as though, or do you think that, obviously what you've been through, do you prepare yourself for the worst case scenario now? In so much as, because you know what to expect, you're not as disappointed by people when when you're facing challenges?
No, I face challenges every day. I mean, 7 days a week, I'm in pain. Sometimes I've cried with the pain. You know, my biggest thing in my life, I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
I'm a coward when it comes to doctors.
Yeah.
I am horrendous. I mean, I remember I lost my leg when I was 18, 19, right leg. It shouldn't have happened, and it was basically an operation that went wrong. And I've had a real hate for doctors ever since. But I think losing your leg, if that ain't a good reason to not like doctors.
Certainly is.
So I'm great at giving others advice, Frank. I am fantastic at sitting down, but I am garbage at talking to myself.
Yeah.
I'm awful at it. I don't know why. I just am. Look after everybody else, but when it comes to looking after me, I don't do a very good job of it.
Yeah. So listen, you've had all those hurdles up to the age of 18, and then all of a sudden an operation goes wrong, and you've had your leg amputated.
Yeah, I had. I remember I was in hospital for 6 months. It's a long story. You know, an operation went wrong, got an infection there. Confined to bed then in Whiston Hospital for 7 months. Never got out of bed in 7 months. And I remember it clear as day. I thought the leg was getting better. And my surgeon, I remember the guy's name, this guy called Monty Harding. And he come down and he examined the leg, and I'll never forget it, Frank, I'll never move from here. He said, we're going to have to cut your losses, and walked away. So I'm laying there, I'm like 19, 20. Cut your losses, what does that mean? Damn clue.
Yeah.
And the sister came over, and I said, he just said about cutting my losses, and she went, I beg your pardon.
And he didn't explain it to you?
He didn't explain to me.
No.
So she said, I'll be back. And she scooted off. And about 20 minutes later, she come back, and she said to me, your dad's on his way. And I thought, my God, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
You know? And I think I've explained my dad was a tough nut.
Yeah.
And I seen him walking down the hospital corridor. I knew that he bumped into was my surgeon. And he got him, Frank, by his lapels.
Oh.
And he hung him up against the wall.
Yeah.
And I remember he said, I'm telling you, he said, my son dies. He said, I'll take the roof off the hospital and you with it.
Crikey.
And put him down.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. So yeah, so them days, we found out, I was going to lose the leg. Otherwise, you're going to lose your life. And they let me go home for a couple of weeks to get my head around the fact that I was, going to lose the leg.
Yeah.
My dad got a private consultation. We got told the same thing. Mm. And then we went back to the hospital 2 or 3 weeks later, and he took the leg off below knee.
What was the reason behind that? Were you in a lot of pain before? Is that what you went?
Yeah. What is the nature of the spina bifida means your legs are deformed.
Yeah. So
my left hip was knackered. When I was born, the left foot was turned back to front.
Yeah. So
all that needed to be corrected. My hip needed to be corrected, and there was never really much wrong with the right leg.
No. So
when I got to about 17, I kept saying to my dad, my dad's foot turned in a little bit, Dad. And I think now to my imagination, and I started tripping over a couple of falls, went back to the hospital. The hospital said, yeah, it is. And the nature of spina bifida is it can progress as you get older, which is certainly is in my case now. And so it gradually, they tried calibers and splints, but in the end, that pretty much went back to front like my other foot did. Right. And so the operation, I remember the surgeon saying to me, we'll operate on the end, you won't be able to call yourself disabled anymore after we've finished. And I ended up losing it. Yeah. Through osteomyelitis, which was a bone infection. Yeah. So that's created a bigger hurdle for you in life. Yeah. What's it been like from that point? What was it like from that point? Do you know what I think? I think it was the making of me. Yeah. Yeah, because I never walked that great. No. And they gave me an artificial leg. I remember, I was about 2 months after the amputation in them days. And they said if you can walk up, and as soon as you'd be able to walk, they had a little mini staircase in the gym. As soon as you can walk up that 4-step staircase, up and down, you can go home.
Yeah.
Like on the streets and that all, up, down, I'm going, thanks very much. But it didn't quite work out like that, right? But yeah, it was the making of me, because I learned to walk from all over again. And you know what, Frank, I could have walked as good as you at the end. You wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
And I remember then, I was getting disability benefits. How ironic. And they came to do an assessment on me. Them days, the doctor used to come to your homes to do your 6-month assessment, see if you're still entitled to it. So I asked official there, he said, let me see you walking, but I was walking up and down. A week later, I got a letter, lost all my benefits because I was walking.
Oh, you're joking.
No.
God. You couldn't write it,
Couldn't write it. So we appealed. About 6 months later, another doctor came to the house and he just went, that's all he did. He sat me on the leg and he went, leave it with me.
Yeah.
And a week later, got it back.
Okay.
But because I've learned myself to walk.
Yeah.
You know, unbelievable.
So you've already said that from a very early age you started volunteering for work once you'd left school.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have much fun. I didn't have any qualifications or anything.
No.
And like I said, there was just that thing in my head, the way we've been supported as kids, through mum and dad, through social work and social services. It was just a natural road to go down for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To this day still is, you know.
So then 14 years ago, or thereabouts, you started, you came up with the idea, first of all, of starting Men-Aces.
Yeah, I did, yeah. I sat there, trying to be missed. We'd always been involved in football, kids football and everything. More from my missus than me, to be totally honest with you.
Was this for your children?
My missus has got a better knowledge of football than I have. Yeah. I can't kid you not, honest to God. Sorry for
a rare find.
a rare find, yeah, honest to God.
Yeah.
If Liverpool lose, I know this is also typical for you, but if Liverpool lose, you can't speak to that one for about a week. Yeah. He's horrendous.
Oh, listen, you need to be an Everton supporter.
I know.
So go on, you've started Men-Aces.
Yeah, so
how did you come up with the idea?
Came on one. Well, I've been to see my brother, Harry. You know, I mentioned before he has severe learning disabilities. Now he's supported in his own home through madcap. And he said to me, "Kai, let's get a football team going." I said, "What is? Yeah, my own football team." So I went on, did think nothing of it. I'd say we'll have a couple of pints. Goes to bed and laying there. And I said, "How do you feel about getting another football team going in?" And the exact words were, "Not more bloody football." I went, "No," I said, "with a difference, disability football." And you know what, that's pretty much how it happened. We got up in the morning and we didn't dash into it. We put it out there. Facebook had only just started to come into. And then we got around local radio stations, the local newspapers, you know, and we just started to see what the interest was over a couple of months. And I remember we set up a meeting at a local pub, and we thought, we'll just see what the interest is. And 6 people rolled up, and I felt like crying. And I thought, 6? So we had our meeting, and I'm in by the back of my head, I'm thinking, I've made a mistake, there's just no interest in this, no one wants it. No.
But you've got enough for 6 aside.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then we came up with the name Men-Aces on that day. Someone mentioned about going about Dennis to Menace. And so I was going on, Men-Aces. And lots of people say to me now, is it Men-Aces or Men-Aces? I've always preferred Men-Aces, to be honest with you. But, you know. But yeah, so we found the name that day as well. Now a week later, we all met on Liverpool Road. And I'm honestly, God, we had coats for goals, a couple of spare cones that we had, and a football.
Yeah.
And eight lads rolled up on that day. And that's how we were born. But never in my wildest dreams did.
Did you think it had come to what it's...
No, I knew we were going to be something special because I said, you know, because when I do something and when the missus does something, we do it properly.
Yeah.
So we knew we had possibly a sleeping giant on our hands.
Yeah.
but not to that scale where we are now.
No. Well, it takes an awful lot of perseverance, doesn't it? But just going back to the Menaces, Dennis the Menaces, the kit was a little bit similar to what Dennis the Menace wore, wasn't it?
Yeah. The kit was, and the logo is, because I pinched after.
I know I was going to ask, what happened there? Did you get told to?
I did, yeah. We got
told off?
Yeah, I never understood it really. We found out, I just got a phone call from the Beano and basically saying, you know, that you that's their logo, but you simply can't use it. I was fighting my case, look at the disabled football team, we're not making any money, blah, blah, from it, we just run the football team, would it not be in your interest? But no, they were having none of it. And they basically said, change the logo, send it over. So all I did, Frank, I just gave them yellow hair. That's all I did.
Yeah.
Sent it back.
Yeah.
And I come back with fine, yeah, go for it, good luck. That was it.
Oh, brilliant.
That was it. Do you know? Oh yeah, that's all I did, just change the hair to yellow.
Yeah. So the opportunities that you presented then for people, you got past that point. You've got the first training session out of the way, and it's starting to grow. What I'd say to you, and I've said to you before, is my son has an acquired brain injury, James, as you know, and he joined the Men-Aces pretty soon after you started.
Yeah.
And from you talking about your early days and discrimination, my son was discriminated against because of his disabilities and wasn't allowed to play in the school team when he was at mainstream school, and he certainly wasn't welcomed with open arms when he played junior football either. So his sort of career in football was pretty short-lived. So when I'm bearing in mind, we're talking about 14 years ago, my son is in his late teens by that stage. He'd missed out on 17, 18 years of football, only to discover that there's this new club about where he can actually go and play football competitively. And
regardless of ability.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
It is amazing. You know, I've always said 12, 13 years ago, a lot of these lads that are in our football team now, they struggled to get any recognition. They struggled in town, in Skelm. You know, they were nothing. Didn't exist, half of them. And I look now, and I see them lads with the kits on, walking through the concourse, walking through the town centre, and Joe Public will pull them over.
Yeah.
I read, you're in the papers again. You won, lads. Oh, good luck at that match.
Yeah.
And you know what? And these lads have got so much recognition now, and they've turned into them celebrities that they should be. Yeah. Right? They are celebrities in Skelm, not me or Min. Them lads. And it's fantastic to see public taking a genuine, sincere interest in what they're achieving and what they've done.
And I still smile now every time I see the players returning from training in the kits. It always brings a smile to my face. And then, you know, not so long back when you first got the minibus as well, every time I see it, I can't help but break out in a nice little satisfied smile, because it's brought an awful lot of opportunity to James, because he's travelled all over the country playing football. He's played in Belfast, and he's also played in Geneva.
Certainly has.
And even won the what was it called, the I forget what was the name of the cup that they played for?
In Belfast?
No, the one in Geneva.
Oh, I can't remember the name of that cup.
Was it the Madcap European Cup?
Yeah, it was the Madcap European Championships, yeah.
Yeah, and they won it that season, that year when James played in it. But how did you come up with all these? How did you end up getting involved with the European tournament?
All we did was, I remember our very first game in 2010. I was getting a well-established team called Bradford, and they were connected with Bradford City Football Club as well. And I kept weighing them up, you know, I'll go to the end. So we invited them down to Liverpool Road. And I thought to myself, we're going to get an absolute kicking. We're going to get a wallop of here. Because they were a well-established side. And Frank, we beat them with ease, 7-0.
Yeah.
And I can remember it to this day. I sat there, I grabbed my wheelchair, sat there on the grass because it was pouring down.
Yeah.
And I stuck my heart out and I thought, how fantastic is this?
Yeah.
Look at them lads. Just look at the smiles on them faces. Because they've got a little cup in their hand. They've achieved a part of something.
Yeah. And
I said to my missus, that's why we've got to make this the biggest thing we can.
How long into the transition is that from starting the formation of Men-Aces before
you started to become sort of fully established?
Fully established, yeah.
It took a good couple of years, Frank.
Yeah.
2-3 years. And don't forget, in 2012, we were invited to the Bath Special Olympics, which was a week-long tournament. And we took 7 lads.
Yeah.
And it was like being at the Olympics. Susan Boyle opened the ceremony. Fabulous voice on that lady. I've never seen somebody grown men brought to tears. Genuinely.
We're not as hard as we look, are we?
Well, no. I'm not. I'll try a Bambi, Frank. I'm terrible trying me, mate, honestly. But a little story about the Special Olympics. We were doing okay. We'd won a few, we'd lost a couple.
Yeah.
And the last game, we needed to win the bronze. So anyway, within 5 minutes, we're getting beat 1-0. And I've got a big lad there playing. He still plays with us now, Carl, big Carl. And he come over and he's got a little bit of speech impediment, Carl, good little player. I said, that player's all over me, that player keeps telling me he's getting into my head. He's telling me I'm rubbish. So I said, I called Carl over and I whispered in his ear, and for radio's sake, I won't tell you exactly the words that I used.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I said, but get into his head, Carl. Just tell him he's this and tell him he's that. He'll be fine. So all Carl did for 20 minutes was get into this poor lad's head, which caused them to give a penalty away, and the Aces won all. And second half, just as Washy Carl gets the second goal.
Yeah. So
we won. So we found out we won bronze, and the ceremony was going to be later on in the evening. So we all go to this dining hall, huge dining hall, hundreds and hundreds of athletes there. We're all around this big long table, and my phone goes. There's a guy called Paul. He was the leader of the Northwest Special Olympics group. He said, Carl, he said, I've news for you. I said, what? He said, I'm really sorry you haven't won the bronze medal.
Almost.
I went, Paul, what? And our table went quiet. And a tear come down my face. And Mim's going, what's up? So then, I'm screaming blue murder down the phone to Paul.
Yeah.
And Paul's shouting, Carl, will you shut up? Shut up a minute, shut up a minute. I said, what? He said, you've won the silver. I said, what? He said, you've won the silver. He said, you won it on goal difference, they made a mistake.
Oh dear.
And honest to God,
yeah.
Our table erupted.
Yeah.
And you probably will have seen the pictures from the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
What a day.
Yeah.
What a day.
You must,
it just...
makes you tingle even now.
It does, yeah, even now.
You're an immensely proud man, aren't you? And of course, not only did, round about the similar time, you were awarded the Queen's Award for voluntary service, the highest award given to local volunteer groups in the UK, and that included a visit to Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
That must have been amazing.
It was. The only thing that saddened me, to be honest with you, because I wanted to take the Men-Aces and we couldn't.
No.
Because it was just me and my daughter got the invite. And there was nothing you could do about it, and I really, really wanted to generally can't do that, I wanted to take them lads. But we went, and I'm not a huge royalist, I'm not against the Norbert, but I came with a different point of view.
Yeah. Because
we met them all, and they were lovely, lovely, genuine, nice people. They really, really were. But what an experience. I'm sat there in the Queen's Garden, Frank, having a cucumber butty and a cup of tea. Yeah. I'm thinking, what's this fat baldy fella in a wheelchair doing here? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just couldn't take it in. It just wouldn't sink. You know, and then the Queen walked past us. Hello, how are you?
Yeah.
We spoke to William.
Yeah.
In fact, I asked William, if you know he's an active Villa fan.
Yeah, that's right.
And I asked him, would he play a friendly against the Men-Aces?
Yeah.
And he said, I'm awful sorry. He said, I've got a dodgy ankle. You might be the Prince of Wales, but stop making excuses, will you? And he laughed.
Yeah.
He laughed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what an experience, for the club to be recognised. And you have to remember, that's the equivalent to the NBA for groups.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, again, not down to me. There's a lot of hard work gone into that, to achieve that status from them lads. Them lads have won everything there is to win in this game.
Yeah.
And they have. You know, and I can't think them lads have put me where I am.
Yeah.
I mean.
But you always call the players superhuman, but
yeah.
The same can be said about yourself, really. I mean, you don't take enough credit for what you've done.
Listen, Frank, you know what? Recognition is nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to say, well done, pat him back, hey, listen, do you know, the odd medal, the odd award. Of course it is. But the biggest buzz you get out of life, for me and Mim, when you see them lads, when you see them on that pitch, fighting for each other, battling for each other. I remember, not the last visit to Belfast this year we went, the visit before that we took your James.
Yeah.
Right? And we lost in the semis. Right? And your Jay, I'll never forget it, he was on his hands and knees, crying his eyes out.
Yeah.
And I'm getting emotional now.
Cry now.
Right? And I remember I got him by the hand, I picked him up. And I got him nose to nose, I said, Jay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, mate. You know what I mean? And we give each other a hug. And then he called me a few things and I called him a few things. But that's the passion.
Mm-hmm.
That's the passion. I've seen them lads give so... And you know what I love about them, Frank?
Yeah.
They guard each other's backs first, they look after each other.
They certainly do.
And if we could take a leaf out of their book sometimes, I'll tell you one thing, mate, I don't think we'd be in there.
No.
Such a bad place as we all are now, to be dead honest with you.
And they're extremely proud of being a part of Skelmersdale Men-Aces as well. James, I mean, obviously, I'm speaking on behalf of James. I know how much it means to him. Mm-hmm. There's been lots of ups and downs, and sometimes, I mean, I don't know what the oldest player is now, but he's getting
on for about 70. Our lad, he's not been with us for a while now, but he's getting on for 70.
So some of these lads just don't know when to retire, do they?
They haven't got a clue.
No.
They don't want to, But
that's the amazing thing about the group, isn't it?
Do you know what is amazing? We've got lads there that can barely kick a ball.
Yeah. But
it doesn't matter. They're part of that club, they're part of that uniqueness. Mm-hmm. They're part of the umbrella, the menace and everything that the Skelmersdale stands for.
Yeah.
And that's what matters more than... Forget the football sometimes. The football's secondary. It's what it gives to them individuals. Some of them lads, you know yourself, some of them lads have a very, very poor existence.
Yeah.
Some of them, sadly, the football's the only thing they do have.
Yeah. I mean, football's always been great for that, isn't it? Because it's something that, if you've got nothing else in life... It
bonds you to people, it brings you together. And sport does that though, Frank, doesn't it? Yeah. Sport brings you together.
It lifts you up and knocks you down, particularly if you're an Evertonian like I am.
I can't argue with that.
But listen, it's amazing, the story. But in order to keep everything going, you have to somehow raise money. How difficult have you found that?
Do you know what? The council have been around with us at times. Could do better. Simple as that. Most of what we've got, me and Mim's raised it ourselves.
Yeah. And
we have. And I've enjoyed doing it. And Mim's enjoyed doing it. Sometimes it's hard when you're sat there in the house in the middle of winter, freezing your bits off. But it's got to be done, these must. We've got to be done. But you know what? You know why I love it? Because the Skem community. The Skem community, and I've said this for as long as I can remember, are the most generous town that I know.
Yeah.
And that's without a shadow of a doubt. You know,
And it's been knocked left, right, and centre.
Of course it does.
The town. It's always the last. It's always the last town to recover from recessions and such like. It's never really.
It's the last town to be really thought of.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Well, it's never really had a town centre, has it?
No.
And not had a hospital either. So most people are either born in Ormskirk or Billinge, Wigan, whatever. But they still have this fondness for Skem because they've lived there, and they realise that it means more to them. It has to mean more to. Skelmersdale's a great town. There's no doubt about that.
100% it is. It's just, like I said, it's the most generous, the most giving, the most supportive, the most proud community. You know, serious deprivation in that town. Yeah. Serious deprivation, but never a more giving. I'll give you an example. I remember a couple of years ago, I sat outside the house there with me a little book and a couple of the other lads. And a little old lady came to me, trolley, and she didn't look like she had a pot to pee in. Yeah. Just honestly. And she opened her hand, she had £6 coins sat in her hand. And I went, no, that's just £1. And she smacked me. Yeah. Shit me. And she went, shut up. And put the £6 in. Yeah. I've had kids coming over, putting in the little 5p's, the 10p's. Yeah. You know, I got asked recently by Asda to can we come in again and do another collection? And I remember saying, I said, I think we've had our quota, haven't we? And she went, nonsense. She said, the town loves you guys coming in. Mm.
So it's actually got to that stage now where they ask you to come in. That's unbelievable.
So because the town loves us going in. And, you know, we can sit there on Saturday and Sunday, and there's the generosity of this town again, and you'll raise £1,200. Yeah. I was in Morrison's last year, right? Sat there all day. Got frowned on, got looked at, got looked down to, and walked out with about 55 quid. Yeah. Tells me everything.
Yeah. Because, like you say, it's a deprived town. Yeah. Always has been, but yet they still come up with
look after their own, Frank.
They'll dig deep into the pockets and give whatever they've whatever they've got.
They'll look after their own, mate. Yeah. And I can't, and Skem, if you ask me who's more responsible for where we are today, it's Skem. Yeah. It's the community. Because without that community, we wouldn't be where we are.
And listen, it's one thing having disabilities and mental health issues, but then all of a sudden we're all caught in the middle of a pandemic. How did that affect you? And I certainly know how it affected James, and I can only imagine what the feeling was of the rest of the Men-Aces.
Yeah. I remember when we were walking out the sports hall at Skem College, the last training session, and it was lockdown. And me and Mim were walking behind the lads, following the load back to the car park. And it suddenly dawned on me, if this virus is as bad as people are telling us, is this the last time we're going to see some of them lads? Yeah. And that's what went through my mind.
Yeah, it went through everybody's mind, didn't it, crikey?
And I thought, good God, that's how vulnerable we really, really are. Yeah. And we got home, and me and Mim talked, and me and Mim cried. Yeah. You know, there's some lads there with some serious disabilities, you know, very susceptible human beings. And I'm thinking, good God. And as the weeks and the months went by, we used to get phone calls from the lads. And 9 times out of 10, the biggest question was, is the Skelmersdale Men-Aces finished? Yeah. Because they couldn't comprehend they couldn't comprehend what was happening. No. As far as they were, all they knew is they couldn't play football no more. And so some of them were assuming that it was done and dusted, you know. Yeah. And so trying to ring and speak to someone over the phone, trying to reassure them, at times was hard work, you know, and really emotional.
So what was the first training session like when you came back from it?
We just had only imagine. You know, all it was just hugs and tears. Yeah. I remember it well. My missus, like me, she's a big crybaby, and everybody was just, we could have filled a few buckets in that hall, you know. But also felt alien.
Yeah. Like strange.
Yeah, very, very strange. Yeah. You know, when you looked at some lads, one thing we had noticed, quite a number of them were put on a serious amount of weight, including myself. We noticed that straight away, so they've been eating well. You know? But it was just to know that we got through it.
Yeah.
You know, by the skin of our teeth, and we lost a couple of lads.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did lose a couple of lads. Not necessarily to COVID, but
during that period, yeah.
During that period, yeah. And that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, that, Frank.
Well, I was going to touch on that subject. I mean, it's one thing providing a football club for people with disabilities and mental health issues, but along that way, along the tracks, the journey, you do lose people, and you've lost a couple of people during the years.
Yeah.
And very, very difficult to deal with.
The very sad. One of the saddest ones was the guy called Ken, and he was fighting esophagus cancer.
Yeah.
And he was probably the nicest human being, without a word of a lie, that I've ever met in my life.
Is this the one where they had the vigil outside his house? Because I was there,
yeah. Well, you were there. You know how emotional that was.
Yeah.
That was it. I mean, even now, it gets me every time.
Yeah.
Because it's how tough Ken was. We did a 24-hour walkathon.
Yeah.
At Skelmersdale ground, funny enough. And Ken walked for 24 hours. He sat down, and that man was dying of cancer.
Crikey. Incredible.
That man was dying of cancer, Frank, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
And he would not take no for an answer. He was having none of it.
Mm.
I'll never forget him for that.
Yeah.
And so...
That's the spirit of the Men-Aces.
Yeah, that's the passion.
And you expect them all to live forever. Such superhuman beings, like you've mentioned, that you just expect them to be around forever. And
they're not. You know, and then Ken died, and we asked his family, could we come and do a vigil outside his home?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, before he died, I beg your pardon. We got told he was dying, so we went down there with a load of lads, and the lads sang our song, We're the Aces.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in the house, I got invited in, everybody sat outside singing, and Ken was in a coma, and he could hear him, and he opened one eye and smiled.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And literally, I think about half an hour after I died.
Oh dear.
You know, so, but again, that's the closeness of us. Ian Crotty, another one. Ian Crotty was a massive character.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest character Men-Aces I've ever had.
Oh, well, without a shadow of a doubt, yeah.
I'll tell you a little story about Ian, if I may. One Christmas morning it was. There must have been about, I don't know, probably 2:13, 2:14, something like that. We're up at 5:30 in the morning when my kids were all opening our presents. And so we got to about 6:30, and I do the traditional fry up.
Yeah.
So I just started 6 in the morning and bang to the knock on the door. So I said, who's that? I opened the door, and there's Ian Crotty. And Ian Crotty had a bit of a speech impediment and said, what are you doing here? Don't like Christmas in my house. And just walked in. And I've just dished breakfast up. My fry-up was sat there. Fried bread, black pudding, you name it, the lot. Frank, he sat on my stool and had it away with me breakfast.
Without asking?
Without even asking.
Yeah.
I just sat there thinking, what happened there? Some mim said, have you got a present for your mother? He went, no. So then went under the tree, a couple of gifts, wrapped them up. He just picked them up, looked at the pair of us, never said ta-ra, nothing, walked out, and that was it.
Yeah.
Bye. Happy Christmas.
He was a huge character in Skem. I mean, I used to go to school with him. I think Brookfield, he was at Brookfield when he first started at school. I think he ended up obviously leaving to go to, I think it was Black Moss, which was next door.
Yeah.
But in the years after that, he started, I think he I think he imagined himself as a bit of a bus conductor.
He imagined himself a bus conductor because he used to have the remote controls in his hand and everything else. Yeah, he always did. He loved the buses. All the bus drivers knew him. He used to travel everywhere on the buses. Everybody knew him.
He was loved. And back in the day, you could do that. You couldn't do that now, could you? You couldn't carry a crotty on a bus now, could you?
No. And then we got a phone call. He died suddenly in his sleep.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's what I was going to say. A lot of people that attach to the football club, members of the football club, tend to die prematurely anyway, don't they?
Like you do, like another one, Chris Bromwell was Down syndrome lad. And he died early through dementia. Yeah. Shocking. Another beautiful man. Yeah. Another friend of ours, Steve Bairstow, was close to be practically a family member, Steve. He's one of our goalkeepers, he's gone. Yeah. I did the eulogy for Ian Cross's funeral. I had them in stitches of the stories I could tell you about that man. Yeah. Not repeatable on air, I have to say. But yeah. Characters, proper characters, Frank.
Yeah. All of the hard work has not gone unnoticed. I mean, the first individual to be awarded the freedom of the borough of West Lancashire.
Yeah.
Must have been an extremely proud moment for you.
It was, yeah. I thought it was a bit of a joke when I got told, to be honest with you. Yeah. Yeah. And the most...
Because it had never been heard of before, had it?
No, it was the first one.
Yeah.
I think it was the Lancaster Regiment got it before me, but there's no other individual.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. And apparently that still to this day gives me the right to walk 8 sheep through town. Right. And I can get a beer apparently from any free house. Well, I've tried a couple of free houses since I've had that, and believe me, it don't work.
But listen, you could still walk the 8 sheep through town.
Apparently, yeah. No,
that would be a good fundraiser, wouldn't it?
I think so. Apparently, yeah, I can do that. So, and I remember going to the ceremony. I had to do a speech in front of the council house. It was full, that place. My nerves had gone. I don't normally get nervous, but I was nervous that day. But yeah, what an accolade. But
is there any other perks to the job?
Yeah, it's. I remember giving it. It's in a huge frame. It's a lovely piece. And I remember giving it to the lads. They've all got the photo, and I've got the pictures there. You want to see the smiles on them lads' faces, and I didn't even know what it was for. No. But just part of the menaces. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I never ever classed that for me, that award. Yeah. It was. But I can't do it without them. Yeah. Can't do it without them, Frank.
But other than the sheep and the free house, is there any other perks?
No, not that I'm aware of.
No.
They haven't said they're keeping it quiet. They're not told me nothing, Frank.
I think what you need to do is you need to make up one or two.
Yeah.
And just try it on whenever.
Well, I think the only perk, I think that the greatest perk that will bring is you will know that I've been fighting for years with our lovely councillors, trying to get some sort of recognition on one of Skem's many roundabouts. Yeah. And all I've been ever asking for is a plaque saying the home of the Skelmersdale Men-Aces. Can you imagine some of them lads are travelling to wherever they're going from A to B? Yeah. Home of the Skelmersdale Men-Aces. It's not a lot to ask that.
No. We need to find out.
And the amount of times I've got turned down on it frustrates the hell out of me.
We need to find a way of achieving that, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
So, at the time of being awarded the honour, you'd raised over £50,000 for good causes. Yeah. You've since doubled that.
Yeah.
You've managed to come up with an amazing array of
we do some
silly ideas. Yeah. It's fair to say. Mention a few if you like.
Oh, I did the Greater Manchester Marathon. I think that was about 2:16, 2:17, 26 miles, and then on modified wheelchair, self-propelling myself. My greatest claim to fame on that one, it took me 7 hours, and I didn't come last.
No.
I just didn't want to come last. That was the biggest worry on my head, So I've done marathons. I've abseiled off the Spinnaker Tower in Portsmouth.
That's what I was going to mention, the Spinnaker Tower. Because
don't bother, Frank. Don't trust me. Don't do it.
You didn't do it with your wheelchair, though, did you?
No. I persuaded. See, we were trying to do that local. We tried Liverpool Cathedral and places like that. Yeah. But as soon as I said to them that, listen, I don't want to be lowered down my wheelchair and waving to everybody. Yeah. I want to get out the chair and get down there in my own seat. Well, the backsides went, as soon as you say getting out my wheelchair, They don't want to know. So we ring around. And Mim came up with the idea. She said, how about...
So I was going to say, where did the idea come from?
It was Mim. I went...
Does she love you?
No. She's fearless, that woman. She climbed all over the world.
On your behalf, it has to be said.
Yeah, the Himalayas and everything. She's done everything, that woman. But she seems to think I should be doing the same as her.
Yeah.
You know? So she phoned them up and explained the situation. So after several forms being filled in and a few phone conversations, they really agreed to let me do it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I had to get out of my wheelchair, hold on to these bars at the top of the tower, and you walk out, and Frank, it is a gangplank. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And I forget how high now. I think it's on 500 or 600 feet, something like that.
Yeah.
But I've never been so frightened. That's on YouTube. If you want to see a grown man cry, have a look at that.
I've seen
because
it.
I did cry.
Yeah.
Never been.
I'm going to. I'm staying close by near Portsmouth, so I'll be taking a look at it.
If you get a chance to, you can walk up, have a close look there.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at it and look up, and
I'll have a look at that.
Yeah, I'll even have greater respect for you after that. There's no doubt about that. I mean, one of the funniest ones is the escape, isn't it?
Oh, Frank,
explain that one.
Do you know what? This was probably the best thing I ever come up with.
Yeah.
You know, the whole idea was 2 convicts. We were dressed as convicts. Obviously, I'm a wheelchair user, and my best mate, I asked him would he help me, would he do it with me as a wheelchair user. And so we decided to escape from Skem with no money, no food or water, get ourselves all the way to Land's End and back, and just rely on the generosity of people.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
We left Saturday morning and we got back Monday morning, and I have never met so much kindness in my life. It was the funniest thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah. The looks we got, the support we got, everywhere we went, people give us stuff for free, drinks for free. We got put up in this hotel in Portsmouth, 2 o'clock in the morning. We're in Portsmouth. Plymouth, I think it was.
Plymouth,
didn't have a clue where we're doing what we're doing. But all we knew was all the pubs and clubs had let out, so all the drunks were out. And we're all taking and making corners this, corners that. And I said to Pete, listen, we need to get off the street for a few hours just till it gets late. So we found this one hotel. Rolled in wheelchairs as convicts. And she took one look and went. And I went, no, I said, listen, this is generous, we ain't been no party or nothing. But she was having none of it, Frank. Anyway, we came out. 2 guys came from nowhere trying to drag me out my wheelchair so they could have a go. Literally drunk off their heads. So I'm screaming blue mares. It was quite intimidating. And I think Pete, my mate in the wheelchair, realised what you could be up against and how vulnerable you really are sat in the chair. Yeah. So we got so desperate, we seen these police cars parked up, so we went over. We even said to the coppers, can you put us in a cell for a few hours just to get us off the streets? And they laughed. They actually laughed. He said, we'd love to help you. He said, but our cells are full. So he put us in directly to this other hotel. We eventually talked this young lad into it. He was only about 18, this kid. He didn't want us there. You could see he didn't want us there. But we talked him into it. He gave us some cleaning stuff. Took us to the shower upstairs. We got a quick shower. Came back down. We sat in a big plush leather red settee. He fed us. And then 6 o'clock in the morning he took us down to the kitchens, and there was a lovely woman from Lithuania. And the maddest chef I've ever seen in my life. And they explained what we were doing. Oh, honest to Frank, we were treated like kings. We came out of there, we had to get our last train to Penzance. Honest to God, I think we put on about 10 stone in an hour. She just fed us and fed us and fed us.
So go on, going back to the beginning then. Once you started the challenge and you've set off, what kind of transport did you use in order to get that? So your first stop is Plymouth? Yeah,
but the first thing we did, we shot out. We started off the concourse in Skem. So we shot outside. The very first thing we did, we blagged a hackney cab.
Oh, right.
Sold in. And lucky enough, he had the ramps. So when we go, takes us to Ormsford train station. Anyway, nothing, didn't cost us a penny, gets out there. So then we go to the train manager, blagged him.
Yeah.
You know, we had our little IDs on, telling everybody what we're doing.
Yeah.
And you know what? How were we ever going to be refused? Two fellas dressed as convicts sat in wheelchairs, Frank.
Yeah.
You're going to go, I've got to support. I know I would. If I was looking at that, I'd go, lads, I'll help you out. What do you want?
Yeah.
So we got there, then we got into town. We went into Costa Coffee. They gave us sandwiches and coffee for nothing. We sat there. The one hiccup we did have, we got on train, we had to get to Birmingham. Anyway, we got to Birmingham.
So you've got to Liverpool.
Yeah.
You've stopped up for a coffee break.
Then we're off to.
You're off to Birmingham.
Yeah,
then.
we're off to
So
Birmingham.
you've had to go all the way up to Lamb Street then.
Yeah. We had to go to Lamb with that hill.
Yeah.
Oh God! So we've got the pizza. Yeah. Pizza couldn't get up the hill. He just couldn't get up. And I went, Pete, what? I said, get out and push the bloody thing.
Yeah,
and he went,
because he was able-bodied. He could walk, couldn't he?
Oh God, he said, I forgot I can walk. Oh my God, that's what he said.
Amazing.
Oh my God, I can walk. So we got up there, and then we managed to get a train to Birmingham. We get off that one, and we thought, right, I forget what.
Did you actually have a plan?
No.
Did you actually have anything written down?
No, there was nothing.
Which makes the story even more amazing.
Because you don't want to plan plans. No, I can't. Everybody used to say that. What's your plans?
Yeah.
I don't want to plan.
Yeah.
We're just going to get there somehow. Do you know what I mean? So when we got to Birmingham, we thought, right, we're going after the next person. Now, what train do we need? So this woman come down, and she was one of the biggest women I've ever seen in my life. And straight away, when you know, this ain't going to work out well, this one. I could just see it. Mm. So I told her, she came over and she went, have I missed something? I said, what do you mean? She said, why are you dressed like this? I said, let me explain. So I took the tag off, handed it to her, she went, you just explain. So I explained what we're doing. She went, you're not getting on any of my trains. So I said, why not? No, she said. She said, because you're not a paying passenger, you'd be taking up someone else's seat. I said, with the greatest respect, I think you'll find out we've got our own seats. But she was having none of it. No. The train come in, she was the train manager, she got on it, and she took great delight at watching us as she went past.
Oh, crikey.
And
I've
so
said
we sat
that
there.
a few times, I think, crikey. But
we sat there.
That takes the biscuit.
And Pete goes, what are we going to do? I went, I don't know. And as I looked over the track, over the other platform, there's a fella like an absolute lunatic waving his arms at us. So Pete says, I think he wants us. Yeah. So then we go in the lift, over the bridge, where we go back down. Why are you dressed like that? And I went, mate, you haven't just called us all the way over here, have you, just to ask us why we dressed like this? So he told me, he said, leave it with me. He said, I think the next one, I think it's Cheltenham, if I remember right. Anyway, before we know it, Frank, half an hour later, we're on first class.
Yeah, even better.
Even better. Beers, cakes. People were even offering us cash, but we couldn't take cash. The whole idea of it was to be without, and plus, we were vulnerable. Yeah. So we didn't want to carry anything. You know what I mean? The only thing we had was our phone. Even the credit cards were taken off the phone. So, we could just communicate with everybody on Facebook, let you know where we are. But yeah, what an experience. That was the best thing I've ever done.
So you've gone from Birmingham to Plymouth?
Yeah.
You've had the whole fiasco over finding somewhere to stay.
Then we've got up in the morning, after sitting in that hotel and having a breakfast from them lovely people. And we got in a train to, what's it called now?
Cornwall?
Yeah. What's it called?
What was the name of the station?
Yeah. I said it before. Anyway, it's our final destination. And then there was Penzance. And then you had to get on a double-decker bus after that.
You're joking?
No. Well, this double-decker bus, Frank, It went on roads no bus should ever be allowed to go on. Honest to God, it was like the wacky races. I've never seen a road like it for a bus. So we blagged the bus. We finally got to Land's End where our photograph taken. And then it's like a little village when you get there. And we moved away, we sit there at this little bench. And we looked at each other and the sun was absolutely beating, it was red hot. And we looked at each other and the pair of us just broke down crying. And I don't know how this guy knew. This guy came over. It was 2 pints of cider. Said, well done, boys. And half an hour later, the 2 best Cornish pasties that I've ever tasted in my life arrived on our table.
Lovely.
You know what I mean? Oh, they were great. And so we're celebrating. And I went, oh, Pete, yeah, what?
I've got to get back.
I've got to get back. And it really put the dampers on it then.
Yeah, wish you hadn't have had that pint though.
Yeah, we got to get back.
Yeah.
So we got back pretty well, exactly the same as what we did.
So you had to blag it all the way back?
I did the bus, blag it, everything. All the way, we never paid for nothing all the way back again. And my kids, I didn't spend 50p. True story about Pete. We sat on a platform. The train was delayed. So Pete goes, I need the toilet. So I said, yeah, I've got the radar key. You know, radar key for the disabled toilet. Well, so he's gone missing. He's gone missing for ages. He finally come up and he went, the disabled toilet's all locked up. So you've got the key? He said, no. He said, it's got a padlock on it and everything else. I'm desperate. I said, why didn't you go to normal toilets? And he went, oh, I've done it again, Carl. I forgot I can't walk. So off he went to the normal toilets.
Yeah.
It was the best thing I've done, Frank, honestly.
Yeah, and how much did that raise in the end?
About 6,500.
Great, that's fabulous, isn't it?
Yeah, we give it to an organisation called Carousel.
Yeah. So listen, I'll go through this list of achievements. Really, we've already mentioned awarded the Freedom of Borough of West Lancashire in 2017. Recipient of the Queen's Award at Buckingham Palace in 2016. You've then gone on to the before that, BBC Northwest Unsung Hero.
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah, I remember I'm taking the group, to start the football training. We just got our routine. Got the lads all in a circle. How are you, boys? Have a little bit of chat, a little bit of a warm up. I'm chatting away. Next minute, there's 2 fellas walked in the hall with cameras. I didn't have a clue what's going on. He's talking away about heroes and this, that, and the other. And lo and behold, he had a trophy behind his back. Glass trophy, BBC Unsung Hero 2015.
Did Mim know about that?
Mim knew.
She was the only one, was
Yeah, and I don't know how people keep secrets from me because it's hard, trust me.
Yeah.
But I had no idea. And again, me, Mr. Big Crybaby, all I did was just crying. Could get no words out. But again, it is nice. It's great to be recognised, Frank, but sometimes it can be a little bit embarrassing sometimes because ultimately, like we do, everything we do is for them lads.
Yeah. But it does raise the profile of the football club as well.
Absolutely.
So, finalist at the BBC Sports Personality of the Year
because
2015 again?
Yeah, because of that 2015 Unsung Hero, we got invited to the BBC Sports Personality of the Year Awards, and every other recipient of the BBC Unsung Hero of the UK was invited to it. And you're in the final. And, I'll be honest with you, everybody kept telling me, you're going to win. And we were in Belfast. And I should have known better because it was like being the Eurovision Song Contest because an Irish lad won it. And he did. And so I always spat my dummy out over that because I won't tell you what he did, but he won it anyway. But I know for a fact.
You should have won it.
I'm convinced of it, to be honest. Without sounding big-headed, I'm absolutely convinced of it. But we were on Irish territory there, on that one. So but I'm convinced of it, to be honest.
So to add to the list, Volunteer of the Year, Great Britain, Sunday Telegraph. That
got me presented by General Lord Danny. He used to be the boss of the British Army. And he presented with that award, I remember that, yeah.
Amazing. So we've already touched on the Skelmersdale Men-Aces win the silver medal at the Bath Special Olympics. We talked about that, another fine achievement. Now, one of the biggest and probably most satisfying things, you wrote your first children's book.
Yeah, I did, yeah. It's called My Gang Gang's Pram. We sat in lockdown. Obviously, we were not raising any funds. Couldn't play football, couldn't do anything. And I had about 4 bottles of Budweiser. And I said to my missus, I said, couldn't write a book. Yeah. And she went, you write a book? I said, Carl, you haven't got patience to read one, which I haven't. I said, no, I want to write a little children's book. I said, what are you going to base it on? I said, no idea. No idea. So days went by and thinking, what can I do? And my granddaughter, she's only about 18 months old. I thought, you know what? Why don't we try and sort of base it loosely around myself and my first granddaughter? And it sort of grew from there, and the concept of it really is, it's how a child views disability and is non-judgmental.
Yeah. And
wouldn't it be a fantastic place if we were all like that?
Definitely.
And so I wrote the story and I thought, who can I get to illustrate it? So I put it on Facebook. Literally, that's all I did, Frank. I've got an idea project, but I need an illustrator for a book. And I got some strange replies. I got some knocks on the doors with people with matchstick men and you know, some of them I couldn't stop laughing, I've got to be honest. I couldn't move. And this lovely girl called Gemma knocked on my door one day and she went, Carl, she said, I think I might be able to help you. So we run through some ideas. And she came back about 2 weeks later with the front cover. And the book's just on the table, you know.
Yeah.
With the front cover. And I knew straight away, I thought, yeah, my God, that's it. That's what I need. Yeah. So...
Had you written the story by that time?
I wrote the story, but I didn't have a name for the book.
Yeah.
Now, the babies always refer to me as Gang Gang. I used to call my Gang Gang, you know, it's not a Liverpool saying. And, but I couldn't think of a name for the life of me. So I goes to visit my daughter and my granddaughter. And the baby toddles around, and she's always used to call me wheelchair the pram.
Yeah.
And she pushed it a little tiny bit. And I went to Sam, that's it. So I said, what? I said, my book, My Gang Gang's Pram. And that's how that happened, that's how that name came about. You know, and it was one of the best, that wasn't another one of the best things I ever did. But I sold about it wasn't fantastic, I sold about 2,000 copies.
That's
we made a good few bob for the Menaces. And the amount of people that came knocking on my door, can you sign it? I felt like a celebrity, Frank, I'll be honest. Who am I? Yeah. You know, I'm signing away, people, you know, kids knocking on the door, can I have one of your books? And, it was just...
Once again, the community coming good.
Never ever question them people.
No. So Pride of Merseyside 2021.
Yeah, that was with BBC Radio Merseyside, and quite friendly with them guys, so every month or so they used to hold like a Pride of Merseyside award, and you'd be able to get on the radio station for about half an hour and just, you know, tell everybody about your ways and, you know, what you're doing, and highlight the Menaces again. And, you know, we're always looking for ways to highlight the Menaces, and Radio Merseyside would be fantastic. If the BBC would be fantastic with us.
Yeah, we've had really good backing off them.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the silly things that you've done, abseiling down Spinnaker Tower and then the Great Escape, one of them, and you're going to do it all over again, is you completed the Greater Manchester Marathon.
Yeah.
In a non-modified wheelchair.
Yeah.
You've got to be mad.
I'm doing it again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've done it once and you're doing it again.
Yeah, I mean, that was 7 years ago now as well, so there's a friend of mine.
You've still got the blisters on your hands?
Yeah, I've still got marks, yeah. Maybe on my ego as well, I don't know.
So you're doing the Yorkshire Marathon this time?
I'm doing the Yorkshire one this time, yeah.
And what preparation have you been doing?
Well, to be honest with you, Wigan Warriors, the Wigan Park Arena, they let me use their facilities there.
Right.
And the running track. And they're also going to get themselves involved in some way, some capacity. I don't know what their age is because I've got to meet up with them. But yeah, so they let me use their facilities, you know, as much as whenever I like.
Because you said before, didn't you, that you finished the marathon before many other people, didn't you?
I wouldn't say many other people, you know, it took me 7 hours to do the thing, but it didn't come last. But it's going to be harder this time for me because I find it hard sometimes, but I go through horrendous pain on a daily basis, really, really awful pain. But one thing I do pride myself on is that I've never been out of work in my life, you know, and that sometimes is a disadvantage as well. I mean, I remember, I'll get back to where I was going in a minute, but I remember recently I was at a funeral with my brother, and it just shows you, you know, you think you're moving forward with disability, but sometimes we're not. Yeah. We were at a church in Bearscow, and me and our kids, we were the first there. And a woman vicar came over to us, and she went, she said, let's see where we can sit you. And she said, now, where can I put you? She said, so you're safe. And already I'm thinking, this ain't going to go well, you know.
No.
So she said, I'll tell you what, here, come over there, get you in here. So I was trying to squeeze into this area. And all I said to her, I said, what? You'll have to excuse me, I'm having one of them days. And you know what she said to me, Frank? She said, what's wrong? She said, have your carers not been looking after you properly today?
Oh, disgusting.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
And I thought, I really, really want to tell you straight. But I was at my best friend's funeral. I thought. So my brother just stood up, you know, he's the head of school, as I said. And he said, listen, he said, that man's never been out of work in his life. He hasn't had support workers. And she looked at me brother and she went, isn't that lovely for him?
Very condescending.
Yeah. So that's what you're up against, you know, so. But, that again, it gets back to what I'm saying there with them lads. When you see the smiles on them lads' faces, and you see the light that they're going through, and they have been going through, but then you see the bigger picture through the football, how their lives have got for the better. The amount of lads that I've worked with over the years start off on medication, highly medicated, would hardly give you any eye contact, really saying anything to you. Now you can't shut them up.
Yeah.
They're there, they're smiling at you. That's got to be worth all the gold there is in the world.
Yeah.
It really has.
Certainly worth all the accolades, much more than that. Listen, what's next for Carl?
I don't know. I want to move forward the Aces. I want to keep them growing, but I'm looking at starting up at my kids club next.
Yeah.
Footy club for the kiddies, disabled
5
kids.
to 11 was that?
Maybe 5 to 11, 5 to 12, something like that maybe. Yeah. But it's trying to find enough time in the day sometimes. I mean, I work full time, you know, all my shifts are 24-hour shifts and stuff like that. I'm team leader for the care service, so it's one thing after another trying to keep everything going. But that's my next step, is to move forward with the club and create a junior section. And I know that there's a huge need for it. I know there is. I mean, last time I checked, there was about 30 kids there wanting to play, you know.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah,
there will always be a need for greater helping with people with disabilities, there's no doubt about that. What have been your highlights then, Carl, throughout those 14 years?
It's just the smiles that they've brought to my face. They've made me a confident human being.
Yeah. They
have. You know, everybody goes on about, you know, what I've done for them and what me and Mim have done for them. How about what they've done for us?
Yeah.
They've put me on the map. They've made me where I am today. They've made me sort of step back. Some of the stuff that I used to think matters, some of the stuff that I thought really matters, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't. That was me being selfish. No, I need that, I don't. And certainly think as you get older, you start thinking like that as well. You know, I'm not materialistic in any way, shape or form. All I know is, and I'm not the greatest I'm not a do-gooder in this, that and the other, and I have got my fault like everybody else is, but I just want to support people, I want to help people. That's all I want to do in my life. To say thank you when I take my last breath. Just to say, thanks very much. I did what I did. Might not have been the greatest all the time, but I've done what I've done and I've given back. to a life what I had when I was a kid and when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
We had a tough life. But there was people there that made the difference. And hopefully I've achieved that and made the difference to these guys' lives.
Yeah, and you've been truly inspirational. There's no doubt about that. And anybody put off by, doing some good for the local community should definitely take a leaf out of your book.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I've been, I've been called things for what we do. Me and my mum, we hound Facebook. We use Facebook a lot. Love or hate Facebook. I love Facebook because it's good for what we do and how we sell the club. But, and especially when I'm doing events, and we've had people come on, you're doing it for yourself. It's all about you. It's all about you. I'm thinking, who are you? What are you doing in your life? You sat behind a keyboard giving me stick.
Yeah, there's always judges out there, isn't there?
Yeah, there always is. And like I said, we don't always get it right. We make mistakes, of course we do. We're human beings. Human beings are born to make mistakes. You're programmed to. But like I said, me and the missus, me and them, we've got a huge passion for what we do. We've got a passion for life, a passion for human beings. And support the underdog. That's what I've always done.
And that's certainly come across throughout this interview, Carl. Now, this is a question I've asked all my guests so far. If you could change just one thing in this world, what would it be and how would you change it? I've got an idea of what you're probably going to say.
Do you know what? I'd probably change myself. I'd probably change how I perceive myself.
I don't think you can change yourself because you've done such remarkable things.
My mindset, how I view myself, because I don't view myself as great at times. And as I said, I don't go along with my disability. I wish I could accept being a disabled man, but I never will do.
No.
I don't know why that is. I hate it. So like I said, I don't feel sorry for myself. I'm not that type of person. I'll never be that type of person. Never, ever. But I hate it, and I wish to God I could. I've got a lot of friends in wheelchairs. They've got a far better attitude towards themselves than what I have towards me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't think people see that side of it.
No, they probably don't because I hide it well. They probably don't. But I wish I could change that.
Yeah.
I really did because.
And change the attitudes of people, because the perception right from the beginning of your school period, it's been difficult. It's one thing having setting yourself challenges like you've done, but you already had the challenge to start off with. And
I think what though, and I think that's what makes me do some of these silly events that I do. To sort of say to everybody else and the haters out there, you're not going to stop me. I'll do what I want, you know what I mean? I'm stubborn, I'm ridiculously stubborn. I'm stubborn to my own detriment at times, to be honest with you. It's just who I am. But, like I said, if I could change something, I'd just change how I view me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes how I view me, I don't like it. But if you just reverse my way of thinking, I'm disabled, doesn't matter, just back on with it, and I admire the lads that can do that. So I'm just, I'm just not that person.
Well, like I said before, you're a truly remarkable person. Your story is a fantastic one, fascinating as well. It's been a real pleasure to have you on the podcast, Carl. Thanks for coming on the show, and thanks for speaking frankly.
You're welcome, Frank. You have a good day.
Yep.
And nice to see you.
Take care.
And you.